Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're going to unpack the rich, kind of wild history and the delicious science behind a cocktail you definitely know, but might not truly understand. Yep, we're talking about the Pina Colada. Let's dive right in and demystify exactly how this legendary drink evolved from nautical folklore all the way into a modern mixology masterpiece. If you like pina coladas, be honest, you probably just finished the rest of that lyric in your head, didn't you? It's literally one of the most recognizable cultural touchstones in the entire world. But beyond that catchy chorus lies a historical narrative packed with pirates, fiercely competing bartenders, and a massive technological breakthrough in coconut processing. Yeah, you heard me right. The actual origins of this iconic drink are incredibly mysterious and murky, and that is exactly what we're going to explore. Section 1. Pirates to early print. So the earliest known folktale of these flavors actually traces back to a Puerto Rican pirate named Roberto Cofresi. Legend has it, to boost his crew's morale, he'd whip up a mixture of coconut, pineapple, and white rum. But when he died in 1825, that original recipe supposedly died with him. Fast forward nearly a full century, though, and these same ingredients start popping up in print. In 1922, Travel magazine mentioned a drink with sugar, lime, ice, pineapple juice, and Bacardi rum. Just 2 years later, in 1924, National Geographic reported on a local Puerto Rican beverage called Piña Fría, literally cold pineapple, made of pineapple juice and crushed ice. And by 1950, the New York Times was formally reporting on a Cuban drink called the Pina Colada, explicitly noting its blend of rum, pineapple, and coconut milk. The really crucial point here is that these early, kind of rudimentary concepts established the core flavor profile way before the modern cocktail was actually codified. Think of it like a giant puzzle. The essence of the drink, that perfect tropical trinity of rum, pineapple, and coconut, was just floating around the Caribbean for decades, waiting for the perfect catalyst to bind the whole shebang together. Section 2, the Coconut Cream Revolution. And meet that perfect catalyst, Coco Lopez. This was a real game changer. In 1954, a University of Puerto Rico professor named Ramon Lopez Irizarry invented and patented a brand new, vastly improved method for extracting coconut cream. Now, before this, getting that rich coconut flavor into a drink was a massively labor-intensive chore. Have you ever tried to extract coconut cream by hand? It's an absolute nightmare. But Professor Lopez Irizarry created Coco Lopez, this brilliantly sweet, creamy product, sold today as cream of coconut. This invention is honestly the only reason we can easily whip these up at home today. And it was absolutely essential to the birth of the modern Pina Colada. Section 3, the Great Creator Debate. Okay, so we've got the ingredients, but who actually put them together? Well, we have three major competing claims for who invented the drink we know and love today. First up, Ricardo Garcia. He was a Spaniard working at the Caribe Hilton Hotel in San Juan who claims he invented it in 1953 using frozen pineapple juice, Coco Lopez, heavy cream, and rum. Then we have Ramon Monchito Marrero, also a bartender at the Caribe Hilton, who claims he created it a year later in 1954 to capture the quote-unquote true essence of Puerto Rico. Get this. Puerto Rico's governor even gave the hotel a proclamation in 2004 celebrating the drink's 50th anniversary based specifically on Monchito's claim. But wait, stepping into the ring a decade later in 1963, we have traditional Spanish bartender Ramon Portes Mingot, and his claim is fiercely championed by the Botachina restaurant in San Juan. Now, what's really fascinating about Monchito's 1954 creation at the Caribe Hilton is that initially, this wasn't even a cocktail. No way. It was actually served as an alcohol-free milkshake at the hotel's snack bar. Just vanilla ice cream, coconut cream, and pineapple juice blended together. It was only later, as a way to appeal to adult guests, that rum was added to the mix. So it evolved from this simple snack bar treat right into the creamy, blended adult beverage we recognize today. It really leaves us with a fascinating, unresolved mystery. 3 passionate bartenders, multiple highly detailed claims, and one incredibly iconic recipe. So which of these historical narratives resonates most with you? The evidence is definitely contested, but hey, the delicious result remains exactly the same. Section 4, Anatomy of a Colada. When we actually look at how this drink is constructed across different traditions, the nuances are pretty striking. The original Monchito recipe calls for 43 grams of white rum, 85 grams of coconut cream, and 170 grams of pineapple juice, all blended up with crushed ice. Now contrast that with the International Bartenders Association, or IBA, standard,
which relies on a simple 5:3:5 ratio. But then you have the distinct San Juan recipe, which takes an entirely different approach. It demands 6 ounces of frozen, freshly pressed pineapple juice and adds a full ounce of heavy cream right into the blender alongside the rum and coconut. It creates a much richer, much colder preparation.
Let's break down that International Bartenders Association standard recipe a bit more. It's exactly 5 parts white rum, 3 parts cream of coconut, and 5 parts pineapple juice. The IBA method dictates mixing this with crushed ice in a blender until it's perfectly smooth, pouring it into a chilled glass, and garnishing. But they also note a simpler alternative. You can actually just add these 3 main components directly to a cocktail glass with ice cubes if you're the kind of person who prefers it on the rocks rather than blended. Today, though, we're seeing a massive modern revival that kind of shifts away from the past. Back in the 1970s, the Piña Colada became known as this highly sugary, frozen slushie. But modern bartenders, they're completely refining the cocktail using super fresh ingredients, premium local rums, and lighter, less sugary flavor profiles. Often, you'll see it served over ice rather than blended. And what's absolutely brilliant is the addition of lime and Angostura bitters. The bright acidity of the fresh lime perfectly balances out the heavy sweetness of the coconut cream and pineapple. Meanwhile, those Angostura bitters add this amazing layer of complexity, spice, and just a little bit of funk that elevates the whole drink entirely. Because those core ingredients are just so robust, the cocktail has inspired a ton of variations. You've got the lava flow, sometimes called a Miami Vice, which beautifully layers a strawberry daiquiri right alongside a piña colada in a single glass. The Scotsman Colada simply swaps out the rum for Scotch whiskey. Then there's the highly creative Tepache Colada, developed by Junglebird over in Santurce, San Juan. This one uses 1.5 ounces of gold rum, 1.5 ounces of cream of coconut, and 2 ounces of Tepache, which is a really cool fermented pineapple beverage. And of course, you can't forget the Virgin Colada, which completely omits the rum for a fantastic non-alcoholic treat. Section 5, Pop Culture and Beyond. 1978. That is the year Puerto Rico officially cemented the cocktail's legacy by proclaiming the Piña Colada to be its official national drink. It was a formal, very official recognition of the incredible impact this specific flavor combination had made on the island's culture and tourism. But its dominance definitely didn't stay confined to the Caribbean. It built a massive global resume. Here in the US, we actually celebrate National Piña Colada Day every single year on July 10th. In 1979, Rupert Holmes released his song Escape, which we all know as the Piña Colada song, and it became a massive international hit, cementing the drink's worldwide fame. And its pop culture relevance continues right into the modern day. Just recently, in 2023, Finnish rapper Kärjäk competed in Eurovision with his entry Cha Cha Cha. In the song, he literally raps about drinking piña coladas after an exhausting week before hitting the dance floor. Amazingly, that song alone led to a measurable, documented surge in the drink's popularity all the way over in Finland. So we've tracked this incredible journey from a 19th century pirate's morale booster to an absolute, undisputed global phenomenon. It survived lost recipes, competing inventors, and shifting decades of mixology trends. So I'll leave you with this to think about. As mixologists continue to play with fresh ingredients, different spirits, and entirely new techniques, what will the next evolution of the Piña Colada taste like? And honestly, more importantly, how are you going to craft your next one?